As always, there's always drama in the 90-Day Fiance streets. So let's not waste any more time and let's start off this one with Laura. Now, Laura is somebody that was a part of the most recent season of 90-Day Fiance before the 90 days, where she flew all the way to Turkey to be with her partner Berkan. But unfortunately, that relationship just did not pan out. In fact, not only did her relationship not pan out with Berkan, but also at the same time also didn't pan out with her best friend at the time, Michael. Yeah, what an ending to the season. But as we know, Laura was on a journey of doing what? Of having skin removal surgery. And that's something that at the time she was unable to have, because she was then told later on that she needed to pretty much lose a little bit more weight to get herself in a better, position to then have a safer surgery. Well, it seems as if that surgery is pretty much here. So she started off with this post here on her social media where she says, "Another surgery day. We have an amazing case with a special guest." I mean, Laura isn't really a special guest, but it is what it is. As you can see, can you take a guess what we're doing? Breast reduction and BBL, or extended tummy tuck and lipo, or I have no idea what this word is, but arm lift. Okay, now of course we know that she wanted a skin removal, so therefore common sense told me it had to be nothing but the extended tummy tuck and lipo. And also, to be fair, it makes for it to be extended because Laura had a lot of loose skin going around, and also on top of that, it felt as if she actually gained more weight at the tail wall based on what she was at the show as well, which definitely indicated that she probably was in a position where she needed to have extra weight moved off, but also at the same time to more likely end up having an extended. And to be fair, I didn't even know an extended tummy tuck was even a thing. But obviously yesterday I then decided to upload this little clip itself in particular of Laura talking about her surgery on my YouTube shorts. If you haven't seen it, that is fine, we'll play it here because this is obviously in context of this video. But you can also check out the YouTube shorts because there's comments there that you may also want to read.
I promised you guys that I would keep this raw and real, and I am a few hours post-op. I don't know what that is. Tape on my face. I'm actually in a lot of pain because they did like the corset stitching on my abdomen and my muscle wall somewhere inside. I don't know, but here it is. This is the good, the bad, and the ugly part right now. I feel like I'm sitting in I'm holding a sit up, like a crunch that I can't relax, and other than that I feel pretty good. It's just that muscle is very, very sore.
So as you can imagine, based on what she says here, it pretty much does indicate more than ever that she definitely has something around the abdominal area, which therefore would indicate more or less her having an extended tummy tuck and lipo. But that's not the only thing that she had to say. She also came out with this post here. Let's obviously mute that because we don't want the music, you know what I mean, copyright and all them kind of situations. But as you can see, she then also gave us another update, as you can see, of her saying first time sitting up post surgery, and it looks like her stomach area looks a whole lot more snatched than before. So therefore we can only imagine that this obviously would be a tummy tuck or extended tummy tuck, should we say. And also obviously as she's sitting down, even though she's got a baggy top, you can also notice that she doesn't necessarily have any like loose skin kind of like poking out of the top. It looks like the area here, stuff in particular where the waist is, has pretty much had a lot of work done to it. I mean, listen, the only thing that I can say, despite the fact that a lot of us, including myself, are not a fan of Laura, despite that I can only say I wish her a successful and healthy recovery, because one thing that we don't want to see is somebody have a recovery that is not good. You know what I mean? Complications are not fun, and for somebody to have to maybe redo it again is not fun, because it is the human body, and really and truly shouldn't be tapped with that much. But even though we have a world where people literally live in a show called Botched, because they do too much, but then at the same time we have a crossover of Botched, meaning 90 Day Fiance when it comes to Darcy, Stacey, Yara, the whole shebang. Larissa, that's another one. Oh goddamn, yeah, she might have been the worst one. To be fair, just for the sake of conversations, who do you think has had the worst work done in 90-day history? Who do you think is the most botched cast member of all time? For me, I mean, you could say it could be Darcy and Stacey, but I feel like Larissa may be a high contender. Yeah. Or it could be someone else that I'm not thinking of. Either way, though, definitely want to hear your thoughts. Of course, there is Shekinah as well. You know what I mean? But with that being said, though, as we are speaking on Shekinah, we're now going to move on to herself. Now, a lot of things have been happening with Shekinah and Sarper. Now, here's the thing. Shekinah recently came out with this on her Instagram stories, where she says, on a date with my husband 1 week before he joined the precious dating apps again. Now, just to clarify, when she talks about dating apps, now, luckily, unfortunately for myself, I have those here, obviously produced to us by 90 Day Fiance Update. Now, as you can see, originally Sarper was found. What the hell is going on here? Why is this uploaded this way? It's like my thing spazzed out. Oh, somehow I've made it. What's going on here? Oh, sorry. I do apologize. I was so confused. But that's fine. That is quite interesting. That is a new tool I'm going to enjoy using, to be fair. But it shouldn't be doing that. Anyway, so as you can see, originally he was on a dating site. As you can see, reported here. Check out Sarper Bumble. He says, to me, home feels complete when there's a peaceful, calming, soothing woman. He says, win me over by giving me space. Shout out to my follower for sending this info. Obviously, this is them shouting out to the person that's sending to him that obviously had found Sarper on Bumble. But as you can see, Sarper obviously gets involved in the comment section where he comes out here by saying, but when seeing this here from a third point of view, to be honest, I felt bad. Even everything is effed up to officially separate. I shouldn't do such a thing. Even for a retaliation, it's disrespect to our past and to myself. I close it. So he went on Bumble simply in retaliation to his relationship with his wife. Wow. What a gentleman, ladies and most importantly, as he likes to always tell us, what an alpha gentleman. Yeah. As we already know, Sarper is far from being an alpha in any shape or form. Now, we continue here. It also says, by him also saying here, the moment she posted that she is ready to be someone's price. I opened it. I don't want to talk about this or go dirty, but we are not married in mind or heart anymore, just a paper. A little bit more, so leave me alone. So obviously, as you can see, Sarper's obviously coming to defend himself in the comment section regarding the fact that he's the one that decided to open up an account to obviously start dating. But here's the thing, folks, that wasn't just it though, because obviously here, as you can see, Tinder Sarper account also was discovered. Okay, and as you can see, it says here, Sarper says life is too short. Get upset, have anxiety. Perks of dating me: be yourself, don't pretend, and be a good girl. Be a good girl. You say that in the right context. He knows what he's doing when he's putting the good girl. Isn't that right, good girl? You see what you did there? Anyway, let's move on. My dream job is making people have fun and laugh, and I'm doing it. He also forgot his dream is also to make sure he's controlling women, and he lets them know that he's the man of the house, even though he doesn't really do well in that aspect per se. So to be fair though, that's obviously where Shekinah is obviously stemming from. Now, with that being said, we're going to go back to the stories. So as we continue here, this is when she starts to upload some of the other posts regarding Sarper. So Sarper came into obviously the post of in particular, which is funny enough, which is right here from 90 Day Fiance Update, which I believe is the same one that she decided to post herself in particular. So let's just dive into what is said here first before we go back to that one. So as you can see here, there's a comment here by Sarper, obviously based on the one that I just read to you folks a second ago regarding when seeing this from a third point of view, to be honest, I felt bad. Everything is effed up. Until officially separate, I shouldn't do such thing for retaliation. It's disrespect to our past and to myself. I closed it. But as you can see here, it does say Sarper confirmed. Oh, but obviously this is obviously them confirming what he says here. But this is obviously the retaliation of... This is obviously what Shekinah had to say in her post. She says, I'm so stupid sometimes. So I guess that week together just was typically for him. No mind or heart present anymore. Cool, Sarper. Don't beg for me back ever again. Since you just shit on me when I give in. So there you go. So basically, she's letting us know that she gives in, and then he also goes out of his way to disrespect her regardless anyway, because it's the Sarper stuff. Something that I have said a lot regarding Sarper, him and his selfishness. Now, of course, when it comes to Sarper and Shekinah, we can argue and say that actually, no, we can definitely agree that they're both very selfish people in their relationship, and their relationship was never going to work because the fact that they're both selfish people. Neither one of them know how to really have a compromise. But Shekinah has said numerous times that there has been times when she's had to give in to allow Sarper to get his own way. Something that I've never heard Sarper say in terms of him having to give in to allow Shekinah to have his own way. If anything, anytime Shekinah's made life difficult for him, all he's ever done is call her names, use obviously language that he shouldn't be using, and then gone off and made jokes about it. Do you see what I'm saying? So to be fair, I would imagine that there's definitely been times when Shekinah has definitely been the one that's given in to his madness more than he's ever done in his life, to be honest with you. But either way though, her giving in doesn't necessarily mean that she's the victim in the situation or she's the better person, because at the end of the day, she knew who she was getting in a relationship with. She knew who she was bringing to America. She knew who she was going to marry. So really and truly, she's still just as bad as him. And I think this is the thing when it comes to these two. There is no good, there is no bad. They're both just complete plunkers. But as you can see, there's also this comment here that was made by Shekinah that she decided to repost, where it says, ready to be someone's prize. I have had a man calling me his punishment for over 4 years. That takes a toll on self-worth. Now remember, he did say that being with Shekinah was like a punishment, and he said this when he on, I believe, the last two episodes back on The Last Resort, which was a crazy statement to say about your wife. He said, I feel like she's my punishment for all the things that I've done bad in my life. Wow. But then again, he's the one that still chose to leave Turkey and to follow her to America, as well as also marry her, to then get the visa, and then also to now be in a position where he's now working as a comedian, stand-up comedian. But yet he wants to sit there and slander her and call her the punishment. As far as I'm concerned, Sarper has benefited from their marriage more than she has. Because again, he's the one that now has a whole new career and a whole new location, a whole new life. So really and truly, she's far from a punishment. Maybe, listen, Shekinah is probably a very hard person to be with. I can only imagine. But if anything, she's definitely still not a punishment. If anything, she was more like a blessing in disguise for him because of where he is in life now. Whether or not he wants to continue this blessing in disguise in terms of the fact that keep her in his life as a blessing in disguise that actually helped him be where he's at now, or he's like, you know what, you was somebody that was a pawn in my life. You came in my life, you did what you gotta do, but now you're a pawn that now needs to be dusted. Then maybe that's the case. Do you see what I'm saying? Either way though, to say that she's a punishment is crazy work, considering he wouldn't be where he's at right now without Shekinah. That is my point. But we continue here where she adds at the bottom by saying, all because I said this, he felt it was time to rev up the dating apps again. It's crazy though, isn't it? This man always feels the need to always go above and beyond just to outdo Shekinah. Like I said before, this is the same man that claims to be alpha. There's nothing alpha about you. He's the type of person that, you know, in this world, there's words that begin, and when they become, they have such positive notations. Yeah, is it notations? They have positive meanings behind them, okay? So, you know, in the world that we live in, originally curvy, you know, had a more positive behind it, but then curvy after a while ended up changing because other people started taking it, and then people were like, okay, now curvy may not be positive anymore. Then you had things like, now my mind's going absolutely blank. You had woke, obviously, when the term woke first came out, it was nothing positive, but now if you're considered woke, it's nothing but bad news, you know, and there's so many terms that start with a positive and they end up into a negative. And alpha was something that generally started as a positive, okay? But now there are so many men out there that's actually now flipped it and made it into a negative, so much to the point that there's women out here who don't even know what the meaning of alpha is anymore. So now they think alpha is negative, when in reality, if you go back to the roots of it, it's not negative, it's a positive. Because it simply means somebody that's able to step in and lead, okay? Lead in a healthy way, not in a negative way. Sarper's one of those people that leads in a negative way, and this is why he's at where he's at in his life. And when I say that, what I mean is, this is why he spent his whole life sleeping with women, having pointless intimacies just for the sake of a number. What alpha person does that? That's a person with low value, somebody with high insecurities, somebody that insults women each time he doesn't get his own way. That's a man, an example of low insecurities, okay? Not somebody that values themselves at a very good rate, or somebody that has good morals, good boundaries. No. Somebody that is utterly trash when he is challenged. But either way though, she comes in with this post here by saying, I felt Miley Cyrus when she said, I didn't talk badly about you. I talked about you. So I talked about what you did to me. If that makes you look bad, that's between you and your behavior. Oh boy, that is different. That's nice. Because telling the truth about my experience isn't bitterness. That is very true. To be fair, telling the truth isn't bitter, but it's how you tell the truth sometimes. You know what I mean? But either way, though, the truth is the truth regardless, isn't it? Really and truly. So, yeah. Anyway, continue by saying it's clarity. And I'm not responsible for protecting someone else's image when they had no problem damaging my peace. I hear it. Sometimes the truth only sounds harsh because someone benefited from the silence. And like I said before, Sarper has benefited massively from this marriage. And he wants to sit here and say Shekinah is his punishment. My friend, she was a blessing in disguise that you didn't recognize. And the reason I call it a blessing in disguise is because sometimes when things that happen to us that seem to be bad, what we don't recognize is actually good. Okay? I mean, listen, I'm pretty sure. Let me give you an example. I'll give you 2 different examples as personal to me that may make you think about your life and think, oh, hold on a minute, that actually what I thought was a negative was actually a positive. You know, for example, when COVID happened, and we all went into lockdown. Lockdown for me was a massive blessing in disguise because that's when I was able to really, COVID was a dark time for many of us. For some of us, it wasn't. For some of us. For me, COVID began as a very dark time. But you know what happened? It allowed me to focus on YouTube so much more. And in that time, I was focusing on YouTube so much more. My YouTube channel was actually growing. But I wasn't even aware that it was growing because I was still in that dark place. But then when I started to recognize it was actually growing, it was going places, I started saying, hold on a minute. This lockdown was actually a blessing in disguise for me. It allowed me to stop the work that I was doing before because I had to, I had to, right? Even though I was working half day, because I was still working in schools, it's obviously key worker and that. But it allowed me to tap into this even more. And I was like, hold on a minute. What the hell is going on? This is actually a blessing in disguise for me. Do you see what I'm saying? So a negative sometimes can be a positive. Okay. And this one here, this one here this one's even deeper. And I don't mind sharing because I want to help you guys hopefully tap into a lot of negative can also be positive. When my father passed away when I was 15, you know what happened after that? A lot of other things started to unveil themselves. A lot of truths started unveiling themselves. Truths that I needed to find out to be able to understand where I wanted to go in life. Truth that I needed to put me on the path that was the path I'm on now. Do you see what I'm saying? Because you see, due to my parents not being together, him passing exposed a lot of things that I wasn't privy to. And I've always been grateful for that. That's why sometimes people ask me, would you like your father back? I mean, a part of me says, yes, lovely, I'd love to. But then part of me says, but if he was here, I don't know who I would be today. And I love who I am today, where I am at today. So his passing was a blessing in disguise for me. That's why for me, I see passings very different to many, many people. I always feel like when someone's time is gone, obviously sometimes people's time can be gone at a very, very stupid young age. My father died, I think, about 35 or something like that, you know what I mean? I'm about to surpass his age, 34 right now, you know what I mean? It's going to be a good thing to surpass his age at least, But without going too much into me, you know what I mean? I'm just saying that that experience allowed me to understand that when somebody goes, what can I take away from what that person brought to my life? And how can I use it to propel? Do you see what I'm saying? So always understand negatives can actually be blessing in disguise. So for Sarper, Shekinah is a blessing in disguise, not a punishment. Like I said before, I'm pretty sure you all have these. Start thinking about every single thing in your life that's been a negative that actually helped you become a better person. Now think about, and then also on top of that, think about all the negatives that you used to not become a better person. Shame on you. Use them, trust me. But Shekinah also comes here but says, out of respect for my husband, I decline answering inappropriate questions and playing inappropriate games with other women's husbands and on this show. Yet he is my husband, willing and ready to do anything and everything he's told. One reason I am done with this franchise is because of how they took us, a couple on the verge of divorce, and chose to put us in these inappropriate situations like games in sex swings and naming parts of the genitalia, with my husband being the only one paired with someone else's wife. Did they not care how Russ or I would feel watching this? Clearly they didn't care. Now, as much as I would love to sympathize with Shekinah in this situation, I am not going to do that. Why? Because you know how the show works. You've been on it for back-to-back seasons. You know they're going to do what they want to get the views in, but you chose to come back every single time. So what? It's my response. You chose to come back. You knew the reality of reality TV. the production behind it. Also continue by saying, this isn't a jealousy issue, cause I could never be jealous of this heifer. This is a respect issue. Oh, it seems to me as if she's now got an issue with who? With Paola, which is rather wild. But here's the thing though, having an issue with Paola is one thing. But here's the thing, folks. Paola then decided to obviously have her own bounce back, you see, because due to this, back to 90 Day Fiance update again, okay, folks. Obviously, who had uploaded this obviously prior on their page. Well, Paola came in and said, imagine looking manufactured and still having an original problem. Imagine looking manufactured and still having an original problem. That is nasty work. Utterly nasty work, ladies and gentlemen. So obviously Paola has her say on the matter. What do you think of Paola's response? God damn. Oh, damn, diddly, damn. But here's the thing though. This is something else that also happened when it comes to Shekinah. Now, of course, she already said there that she's not coming back to the network, clearly. But she also had a few things to say here. Now, let's get into this post here. Let me put the sound on and let me mute myself.
There's been so many chances given, so many opportunities for change, so many promises, so many broken promises, and so many attempts at reviving what once was. And for the most part, I just don't think it's possible. I think that people can say that they've changed, but as far as maintaining change long term or it being sustainable, that's another thing. So I've experienced throughout my life a lot of men saying that they're going to change. I give them more time, let them back into my life, only to find out that the change that they make is short-lived and we're back to square one with the same patterns repeating themselves. So am I willing to do that anymore at this age? No, I'm not. So no matter how much I love someone, I love myself more at the end of the day, and I'm setting an example for my daughter. So no.
Remember when Shekinah first debuted in 90 Day Fiance and she said that my daughter has never experienced me in a healthy relationship before and I want her to experience her mother in a healthy relationship for the first time. Yeah. That aged so well, didn't it? That aged so well. And it's so crazy because her whole family was even against her being with Sarper as well as her daughter, but she was adamant that Sarper was going to be the man to show her a healthy relationship. Yeah, I know she said a whole lot more than that, but that's a point that I really wanted to focus on more than ever, because the problem with Shekinah is that she does a lot of talking with lack of results. Now, this one here is something that I already obviously played before you guys, if you haven't seen it already, but this one is on my YouTube Shorts if you want to check it out, folks, okay? Obviously, regarding us selling adult content, all right? But it's not something that we need to talk about in this specific video. Now, obviously, this is a past post that we did speak about previously, where, as you can see, she says, I'm so embarrassed to be on this trash TV show. Make it stop. Pathetic. A waste of time. I can't wait for this part of my life to be over. And this is obviously her declaring again that she would not be back on 90 Day Fiance ever again. Or at least that is what at least that's the intention that she has anyway. But I always say when it comes to some customers, take that with a pinch of salt.
Treasure all of my memories of filming in Turkey. I felt like the Turkish crew was just so special, sweet. They made our experience so memorable. They treated us like royalty. I feel like in the US, we just weren't treated so well when it came to filming. I didn't like how filming has been in the US, and I also didn't care for my UK experience, but my Turkey filming experiences are precious memories that I'll save forever. And I don't think I'll make any more memories filming in the future for 90 Day, because I feel like this chapter is closing for me. I'm going to move on with my life, and I don't want this to define me. It doesn't define me. And for all the people that have, 90 Day in their freaking handle on social media, ew, I'm so sorry for you.
Listen, the UK was the best time of her life, okay? She needs to stop this, miserable woman. Nah, I can imagine. I'm not going to sit and say that the UK is necessarily any better than the US, but I'll say that the UK is better than the US. I'm just playing. I'm just playing. But hey, at least she's got some positives to come out of this, isn't it? At least there's that.
I know what goes on behind the scenes for other people, but for me personally at the castle, I spent so much time in my room. Like, I was in my room in bed watching shows, just ordering room service, chilling, like I just was in my room a lot because they were, there was only, I think, 2 good sized camera crews. And when they were filming other couples, the rest of us just had downtime and we didn't really mingle, because I think maybe some of the other couples did, but I didn't personally mingle with other people. I think that most of the interaction needed to be on camera, so they kept me in my room a lot, and that was fine with me. Like, the less social battery draining that's happening for me, the better, because
when you talk, my battery drains, to be honest with you.
I get very exhausted by social situations. So that was my behind the scenes. I don't really know.
Well, folks, that is the end of that madness when it comes to Shekinah. But now we've got one more other thing to talk about as well, and this one is all about Jasmine and Gino. Interesting. Oh, the question that I have for you, lovely folks, is: are you sad to see Shekinah leave the TLC, leave the 90-day franchise? Are you sad that? Are you sad that we're just not going to see her ever again? I truly hope that she's just kidding with us, folks. I truly hope it. Oh, Shekinah's gone. I hope it's true. And I hope Sarper's gone too, to be fair. I hope that a lot of people go from the show. Especially when it comes to the two people we're talking about next. And this one is all about Gino and Jasmine. And this is an update regarding their divorce. Now, as per SheBeauty.com here, as it says, Gino and his ex-wife Jasmine, have finally reached a final divorce agreement through meditation, with a court hearing scheduled tomorrow for formally notify the judge of the settlement. The outcome of the agreement is soundly in Gino's favor. I am happy for Gino as he can finally put that ex-wife in his rear view mirror. And of course, if you want to, well, I guess I'll be doing the same thing, but also for us to stay tuned in, I guess we have to wait and find out. It's interesting that the end, so you heard it here even before TMZ. How hilarious. So the question is, with that being said, if it's in favor, I wonder how it's in favor. But of course, as we saw there, the report itself in particular was something that was obviously put down as, without no evidence per se. But despite there not being evidence, I will say this though: Gino did repost the post. So the fact that he reposted this post on his story, not only did he repost the original post from SheBeauty, he also reposted it also when it was also put down by Starcasm _IG as well. So given the fact that he's reposted it, it can bring more truth to what's being said. Now, of course, in history, there has been a lot of times when SheBeauty's come out with some exclusive news, and without any evidence, but has been later on to be proven to be true. I think more times it's been proven to be true than it has not been true, but I could be wrong. Either way, though, my point being is that I'm willing to trust the source, regarding the fact that it does say that, this information is more likely to be true, and also given the fact that Gino has obviously posted it. Now, of course, Jasmine has not posted it in any shape or form, but I don't see why she would post it if it is in Gino's favor. If it was in Jasmine's favor, I would imagine that she would also be posting something too. But at the same time, though, when it comes to staying true to the NDA, Jasmine definitely is somebody that will definitely keep her mouth shut even more, because she cares a lot about being on the show. She cares a lot about not upsetting the producers because she wants that money. But either way, though, I guess we're gonna have to wait and find out to see if the source is true, or if the source has been misled with wherever they got this information from. But the question is, folks, aren't we just happy to hear that it may potentially be finally coming to an end. But here's the thing though, their relationship, their marriage coming to an end isn't really the exciting part, really and truly, is it, folks? The real exciting part is to find out that one day these two will not be back for the show. That would be even better news. Give me your thoughts. And also, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the UK right now, good luck to you today, as we got one hell of a heat wave, and boy is it humid. Anyway, but if you're around the world and you got beautiful weather and it's not humid and you're able to relax, I envy you. I truly do envy you. Anyway, everyone, have a great Thursday, and I'll catch you guys for the next upload. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hype the video, and also have a good day. Peace.